everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Skybite Studios, and in this video we are going to be ranking all the Studio Series figures that have been released so far, which is waves 1 through 3, from worst to best. And of course this is going to be my personal opinion of the worst and best Studio Series Transformer figures. So you may disagree, I'm pretty sure you're going to disagree, but by all means leave a comment down below of what your personal list is of the best to worst Transformers in the Studio Series line. Now, before we begin, I just want to say the Studio Series line, in my opinion, is one of the best Transformers toy lines we have ever gotten. Definitely anytime recently. And, excuse me, since this is 1 through 3, waves 1 through 3, there have been a total of 18 figures that have been released in those waves. However, I will only be including 17 in this list because Studio Series number 15 is pretty much the exact same mold. Studio Series 15 is a re-release of Bumblebee, the Studio Series 1. All it is, they added extra car parts and they added a little Charlie figure. It's the exact same toy, so that won't be included in this list. So it's the 17 best Studio Series figures. So anyways, let's begin. Number 17, Shadow Raider. Now this is going to be at the very bottom of the list. For one thing, it's just a repeat of an existing Studio Series figure, which is Lockdown from Age of Extinction. And the reason why I like this the least, actually I dislike this figure. I almost got it though, but I really don't like it because it's orange. I'm not a big fan of orange, especially this orange. And yeah, I think they're trying to pass this off as one of those KSI clones or those things that transformed weird in Age of Extinction. Don't quote me on that because I may be wrong. But yeah, that one is gonna be my least favorite Studio Series figure so far. Number 16, that's gonna be Dark of the Moon Ratchet. Now this is gonna be specifically the Dark of the Moon center repaint of the figure, and not the original Ratchet that came out earlier in the waves. So yeah, same reason. This is just a repaint. It's actually, I think, a lesser desirable paint job because of all the green and I don't know. It's just weird to me. But yeah, there you go. Number 16. Number 15, Thundercracker. Now this is where it starts going into the territory of figures. Even though they're low on the list, I still very much like them. And that's the case here with Studio Series Thundercracker. This one was released as a Toys R Us exclusive, and because of that, since Toys R Us closed down, as many of you know, in the US, even though it might come back up, I never opened it. I left it in the box, but I do have the original version of the mold, which is Nitro Zeus, or Decepticon Nitro, whatever you want to call him, from Transformers The Last Night. And I really enjoy the figure. It looks really cool, and the paint job on this one is much better compared to the bland white that we got in the first one, which I still was pretty okay with. And yeah, it just looks cool. It's a redone head. It's just really nice. I love the Thundercracker paint job. I've always loved Thundercracker and Skywarp's paint job. But yeah, there you go. That's gonna be number 15. Number 14 is CROWBAR. CROWBAR is one of the dreads that we've seen in Transformers Dark of the Moon. And it was kind of a retool of Berserker from The Last Night, which is okay. They're different enough to be able to be displayed next to each other and be shown as different dreads. And I do like it. This figure had to grow on me for a bit. This is one of those figures where I just bought it for the sake of completing the first wave, because he was one of the first figures to come out in the Studio Series line. But the more I play with him, the more I liked him. I do like him a lot better than Berserker, and I think he just looks much cooler. He's definitely more stable because he has the big feet. But there you go, number 14, CROWBAR. Number 13 on this list is going to be Stinger. Even though this is ranked so low on this list, Stinger is awesome. The play value, not the play value, just like how much I've played with it is insane. It's more than I ever thought I could play with a figure like Stinger. When I first bought it, that's a figure that didn't leave my desk or my presence, my work area for a very long time. I think I just played and fiddled with it for 2 months just sitting there before I decided to part with it and put it on my display shelf, which is not really parting with it. But yeah, I love the figure. The design is awesome. It's much better than the Stinger we got from Transformers Age of Extinction, which is just a repaint of the Bumblebee mold at that time. And it just looks really, really cool. Number 12 is going to be the original Studio Series Bumblebee, SS01. Now this has got to be my favorite Bumblebee, deluxe Bumblebee figure. Up to that point, let me clarify, up to that point, it was really cool. Pretty much the only downside I could think of that is the hood. I'm pretty sure all of you know who have this figure, the hood keeps popping off because it's not pinned down. And the face looks like it's really bug-eyed, like his eyes are just wide open. And so that one was weird, but nonetheless, I really love the figure. I love the design of it. I love that they went back to the 1970s Camaro from the first movie. It would have been good if they had the kind of, not the battle damage, kind of like the rusting and dirt effect. I remember there was one exclusive overseas that had the dirt effect. I wish we had that over here, or I wish Takar had that. I think we're gonna get one soon, but if we do, I'm definitely gonna get that, and that's gonna stay in vehicle mode. Number 11, which is Autobot Jazz. Autobot Jazz, because Hasbro can't get the rights to just the name Jazz. So Autobot Jazz. That's number 11, and that's awesome. It was about darn time that we got another Jazz figure. And I love how, which is what all the Studio Series figures are trying to do, is keep them all in scale with each other. I love how he's the smallest one, or second to smallest one. And yeah, problems with this though is the panels don't like staying together much. Pretty sure all of us know that when it comes to transforming him back to vehicle mode. But nonetheless, I really love the figure. The paint job is awesome. It's not just the drab gray plastic, it's actually painted silver, and it's just really cool. I love the Jazz was short-lived, literally, but I really did like his character, so it's cool to finally have a proper deluxe toy of him after 10 years. Now we're going into the top 10. And for the 10th place figure, it's going to be the actual Ratchet from the Studio Series line, the first Ratchet that came out. And I think this one is absolutely awesome. It's a taller deluxe figure compared to Jazz and Bumblebee, which is really nice, and it's up to scale, of course. And I think the paint job on this one is just a lot better. It's lacking some paint, with the primary color just being the gray, or not gray, the green plastic with some black and red in there to accent it. But I actually really like it. And I know as this one and the Dark of the Moon repaint in the Studio Series line, they're just repaints themselves of the actual Dark of the Moon line toy of Ratchet. But I'm okay with it. It's really cool. So there you go. That's number 10. Number 9. That is going to have to be Deluxe Class Lockdown. And Lockdown is really cool. It's so cool, in fact, that I do not want to take it out of its packaging. So I am basing this one's ranking off of reviews and seeing what the vehicle and robot mode looks like in person, though. But I'm keeping mine in the package because it just looks cool. It's a major step up from the one we got from Age of Extinction. And yeah, and according to, apparently through Hasbro, they thought it was so cool that they had to do a repaint of it as Shadow Raider. But the original one, where it actually shows the face, not the face mask, show all the details, just awesome. The black is awesome, the vehicle mode is awesome. It's just all around great. Next is number 8, and that's going to be Voyager Class Ironhide. This Ironhide is absolutely awesome. I think it's got to be one of the most accurate, screen accurate Ironhides we've had to date, because the proportions are all there. It just looks great. There's no weird blue like the Leader class had, and it's not flimsy like the original Voyager class was, where like the shoulder panels, which is the front of the car, are spring loaded, so just they had a hard time staying in place. The only downside I could think of this one is the bumper that's across his waist that almost looks like a smiley face. Yeah, that one's a little off to me, but I could get past that, and I think a lot of reviewers have got past that as well. And yeah, it's an awesome figure, and there we go. That's number 8, Voyager Class Ironhide. Number 7 is going to be the Voyager Class Optimus Prime. This, I feel like I'm in the minority of ranking this figure so high, and that's because the coloring is a little dark, which I understand. I'm okay with it. And there's always that issue with this, what's on his chest, which is the hinges, and that's so glaringly obvious. I also would have liked that chest to be done a little bit differently, maybe hide the hinges some way, make them a little less subtle, or hide them in the chest in some way, but I'm okay with it. Nonetheless, I really enjoy how this looks. I think the proportions are great. It's not the best Voyager Prime out there, but I like what they've done with it a lot. Now for number 6, it's going to be the Bumblebee figure from the Bumblebee movie. Now this one is my favorite Bumblebee figure to date, of all the Bumblebees, of the Human Alliance, of the Deluxes, all of that. And that's because it looks so cute, and the proportions I think are spot on according to the movie. This is a very, very screen accurate Bumblebee, and his face does not look scary. He actually looks kind of angry with his face, which is fine. He doesn't look bug-eyed or drugged out. But yeah, he just looks cute with his like thick proportions. Yeah, thick legs. Bumblebee got thick legs, and I think like his chest and the wings, how everything works. And it's a Volkswagen Bug. It harkens back to the G1 Bumblebee. How can you not love it? And it's really great. This is definitely the figure that surprised me the most out of all the Studio Series lines. I just got this figure like early, like really expensive early. Like it was $50 for a deluxe figure early, for the sake of doing a review on it. But I ended up falling in love with the figure, and that's why it's high up on the list. It's in the number 6 position. That's going to be the Studio Series Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie. Now, on to the top 5. To start off the top 5, in 5th place is BRAWL, Voyager class BRAWL. Now, the last time we had a BRAWL figure, an official BRAWL figure, was from the first movie. We haven't had any version of him come up since then, not a repaint, none of that. And I do have the leader class BRAWL, the regular BRAWL, and the Deep Desert BRAWL, and I do have a version of the Deluxe BRAWL. And this one is definitely the most screen accurate out of all of them. However, I do prefer the leader class version because it's bulky, but because it's that bulky, it's not necessarily screen accurate, because upon second look, if you were to look at the movie, BRAWL is actually kind of thin-waisted. And I didn't notice that. I always thought, because I was so used to the leader class version, even the deluxe class version where he was kind of thicker, I was used to that. So when it came to the Studio Series figure, it was cool just to begin with, and it's also cool to know, of course, that it's more screen accurate. So there you go, Voyager class BRAWL. In number 4, we have leader class Blackout. Blackout is a figure that all of us Transformer fans have been wanting another version of, especially a leader class version. And I did love his Voyager class version in the first movie. I feel like I was in the minority of that too, even though it was the smallest Voyager class of the whole line. I think that's because of the gimmick with the rotors pressing the tail in the back to have those spin. And since this is not a gimmicky line, Studio Series doesn't really involve gimmicks other than just weapons. I think they had a lot more room to do to like improve it, and it's very, very screen accurate. The transformation could be a little fiddly, I understand that, but I actually enjoy the transformation. I could actually get the panels in place. I just practiced with it a lot more, and I was able to get it consistently done. So once I got past that, it was great. It's a good display piece. I would have liked it to be a little bit taller. And I think Jin Bao is creating an oversized version of this figure, and I just can't wait for that one to come out. But yeah, the paints, the proportions, they're all there, and it comes with a little Scorponok. Blackout, I'm gonna be fangirling over Blackout and the next few figures forever. Number 3. That one is going to be Voyager class Megatron. Now, for those of you who have seen my previous videos, you know Megatron has got to be one of, if not my most favorite Transformer character ever, because he just looks bad ass. I love Megatron, and this is the most screen accurate Megatron, hands down, we have ever gotten from Hasbro or Takara, and it's awesome. The proportions are there. The only downside I could think of is maybe the paint is a little drab, but it's definitely more accurate than the green paint we got from the original Revenge of the Fallen Voyager class Megatron, or the blue, the bright blue that we even get from the first movie's Megatron. And I just can't say enough about this figure. It's awesome. The tank mode is actually accurate. It's the most accurate in vehicle mode and robot mode of any Megatron we've ever gotten from the movie series. And it's tall. It's a very big Voyager class. It's not that much different in size, height-wise, to Blackout, which is surprising. So you do get your money's worth out of that for sure. And for some reason, it's going cheaper than most Studio Series Voyagers on Amazon. It's $20-something instead of $30. So that's weird. But hey, if you don't have one, go get one. Number 2. That one is going to be Studio Series Voyager STARSCREAM. Now, the reason I have STARSCREAM higher up than Megatron on this list, I was debating about that, but I ultimately landed on STARSCREAM in the second place because I think there's a lot more detail going into this. From his triangular shape, that's the perfect triangular shape for STARSCREAM, and I do have the leader class version, I do have the original version, the Voyager version from the first movie, and this one takes the cake. It's just so freaking awesome. And yeah, I think the paint works, even though most of it is gray. That's pretty accurate because F-22 Raptors are generally monotone with a few paint accents for like camo, I think, and all that military paint. But I think the genius in this comes from it's an existing mold, but you don't know that because of how much they've changed. And it's one change, and that's the chest. Fixing the chest by adding the extra panel to fill in the gap, because this, if you guys don't know, the mold is the same as the Dark of the Moon Deluxe class Starscream. They just increased the size of it for the Voyager size, and they added that panel on the chest so it fills it in so it doesn't look hollow. And I think they've done a marvelous, awesome job by doing that. And that just, I think that's the genius behind why this figure is so awesome. But there you go, number 2 goes to Starscream. Now, number 1, it's got to go to leader class GRIMLOCK. GRIMLOCK, to me, is hands down the best Studio Series Transformer in the whole line. It's a leader class, so it's the biggest, of course. And the paint job on this figure is amazing. It does not look like a Hasbro paint job. Heck, I'm gonna say it doesn't even look like a Takara paint job. It looks like a third-party paint job where they took like an existing figure, they just repainted it and then slapped a different name on it so they don't have the copyright issues. The paint on this is awesome. They actually went through the detail of brushing in metallic looks. It has metallic paint almost throughout the figure, green metallic paint, except for a few spots of gray, which actually you don't even notice it that there's gray paint that's not that kind of metallic paint, because it's just so well, it's so well hidden. And on top of that, there's no kibble on the figure when you transform it into robot mode. If you look in the back, there's absolutely no kibble. Everything is used really well from the T-Rex mode. And the T-Rex mode, even though it's the weaker of the two, it's freaking awesome. I didn't know whether to display this figure in robot mode or in dino mode, because in the movie he was in dino mode more than his robot mode. So both were great. There's some gapping issues in the panels for the dino mode, but yeah, I have it displayed in robot mode now. I'm looking at it right now. It's amazing. It's hands down the best Studio Series figure we've ever had. The details are there. The size is there. I wish it was a little bit taller. I wish that was a little bit taller. If there's a third party company that's gonna make it a little taller, that's all it is. Make it taller. Don't change the paint job. I don't know how you could top the paint on this. Maybe just paint the gray parts on there. But that's about it. There you go. That's my favorite Studio Series figure so far. And there you have it. That is a list from worst to best of all the Series figures that have been released so far. All 18 of them. Well, 17. And those are waves 1 through 3. So let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with the list? Do you disagree with the list? If you do disagree, please, by all means, I want to know, because I love seeing those kinds of things. Leave a comment down below of how you would rank it. If not all 18 or 17, just say your top 10 or your top 5. I would love to see that. But anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. If you liked it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more Transformer videos and other toy reviews in the future. But until then, see you guys next time.